Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan and welcome to my podcast, The Four Most Important Questions in Life. And when you're clear about the answers to these questions, you will lead a prosperous, joyful, loving, fulfilling, and magical life. And these questions are: who are you? Why are you here? What is your purpose in life? And how to actually be who you truly are. First off, if you were raised by humans and not raised by wolves, they would have taught you that your purpose in life is to please others and please God, and by doing that, you'll be happy and prosperous. But you soon found out how difficult of a job it is to please everyone, and how you must sell your soul, so to speak, in order to do so, because the pursuit of making everyone else happy is often at the expense of your own dreams and desires and your own happiness. And you would have been given zero clues as to who you actually are and what your real purpose in life is, and zero training on how to actually be who you truly are. The only way to learn these things typically is to explore alternative spiritual teachings and success training that are outside of the typical religious norms. I mean, some religions can give you a few clues, but you have to sift through 10 tons of dirt before you ever find a single nugget of gold that can actually help you in your life. So, to first answer these four questions, we must first dispel the myths and bald-faced lies of what you are not, and what your purpose in life is not, and who you absolutely are not, to finally discover the truth of who and what you truly are. Actually, it's pretty easy to discover the truth, because all you pretty much have to do is do the opposite and believe the complete opposite of what all the religions taught you and what society has taught you. So, number one, who are you not? You are not a human trying to become a spiritual master, or to become enlightened and earn or learn your way into heaven, or to be a good Christian or a good religious person and earn your immortality. And you are not faulty or sinful in any way. You are not bad or wrong or about anything. And you have never, ever done anything wrong. Ever, ever, ever. In fact, you can't do anything wrong, because only you decide what is right and wrong for you. There is no such thing as a judging force deciding your fate. Only you decide your fate. There is no right way. There is only the right way for you. So, who are you really? You are God, source, spirit, divinity, soul, whatever you want to call it, in a human body. Who and what you truly are is source. You have a source self, a God self, if you will, a goddess self. And you as that source, you as that spirit, you as that soul, that God source, is expressing itself through your human body. And the source, you, has done this a million times. And because you are source, who you truly are is completely, divinely, perfect, and unconditionally loving, infinite, and immortal. So you as source, you as spirit, you as soul can't ever die. So in truth, death is a complete illusion, and only the bodies we inhabit can die. But who we truly are goes on and on and on and on forever and ever and ever. And because there is no judging, no such thing as a judging God force that judges us and condemns us, which would be totally illogical, because that would mean that God would be judging itself. That means no one can ever get anything wrong, and we never get anything done, because we are all eternal creators. And because this is a universe of attraction and not a universe of assertion, where people or forces can assert their will against our will, that can't ever even happen in a universe based on attraction, which means there are no such thing as victims, because every single experience is attracted. Most people attract most things in their lives unconsciously, though, because they don't know how to focus on what they want. So they are just kind of reactor attractors, rather than conscious attractors. So most people, are just unconsciously creating what they necessarily don't even want. They don't know how to focus on what they do want and then allow the universe to give it to them, and they don't understand that they are immortal, infinite, all-powerful creators. But nevertheless, everything, in every single person's experience, without exceptions, everything is attracted and never, ever, ever, ever asserted upon anyone against their will. So plain and simply, who you truly are is God's source expressing itself as you through your body. And even though you more than likely identify yourself as this body, you are not your body. It is your creation. That who you truly are, created to live in and through and experience life through on this leading edge of creation. And contrary to what most primitive religions believe, we are not, I repeat, not separate from God, and we can't ever be separate from God because we are God. You are God's source expressing itself as you, and you are never, ever, 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 and never have been separate from the God source that you truly are. But you, as a human, have the free will and freedom of choice to perceive yourself to be separate from source, from God, if you choose to perceive yourself in that way. And you can unconsciously or even consciously pinch yourself off from who you truly are as this source by thinking in limited ways and judgmental ways that are contrary to who you are as source and who you are as source thinks and believes, which is always in unlimited and unlimited and allowing and unconditionally loving and generous and joyful and infinite prosperous ways. Say that 5 times in a row. Who you truly are as source never ever pinches itself off from you. But you can pinch yourself off from the inner divine you with your stinking thinking, which is what most people do because they primarily think in very limited and lack-oriented ways. They think about what they don't want, and they judge and condemn what they dislike in themselves and other people, and they focus on a lack of what they want rather than a fullness of what they do want. And therefore, they pinch themselves off from their own source, because source never ever judges us or anyone. Source never ever thinks about a lack of what we want, or ever thinks about or judges things that we don't like, ever. If source did think about things that we don't like and agree with us, that we don't like them and they're no good, etc., then we would not feel bad. We would not feel a disparity between ourselves and God. We would be in alignment with God, so to speak, because we would be, we'd be thinking in the same way that God thinks. But source God doesn't think in negative, limited ways ever. But when we think in lack-oriented and limited and judgmental ways, we feel terrible because we have pinched ourselves off from the unconditional love of source, which is what most humans do, and then feel separate from God, and then they try desperately to get back to God somehow. But the problem is, they try to get back to God through behavior. But that never, ever really works, because you as source, the God you, the goddess you, doesn't care how you act or how you behave. Source, God, goddess, all that is, never judges you. And when you try to follow rules set forth by humans, yes, every single rule and commandment was set forth by humans, not God. It only connects you to similarly minded humans, but it doesn't necessarily connect you to God's source. The only way to get back to God, so to speak, is to think like God does, to think like you as source thinks, which has nothing to do with positive or negative or moral or immoral behavior and acting in pious ways to prove your supposed worthiness. To you, as source, who you truly are, your worthiness is not ever and never has been in question, because there is nothing wrong with you. You are not faulty in any way, and you are not sinful in any way. Simply, you are God's source, perfect divinity, expressing itself in a human body, experiencing the contrast of life, and the contrast of wanted and unwanted things, and nothing more and nothing less. You are here for the joy of creation and the adventure of turning your desires into physical things. You're not here to prove your worth that does not need to be proven to anyone. And when you try to prove your worth, you pinch yourself off from who you truly are as source, God, Goddess, all that is, because God's source never ever judges you in any way. Humans came up with superstitious religious behavioral practices such as following commandments and countless rules and regulations about sex and money and worship and children, etc., as an action-based strategy to somehow achieve purity and prove worthiness and goodness and godness to some judgmental, insecure God that needs you to prove your worth to him. This strategy was basically a Hail Mary strategy based on the basic premise of we don't really have a clue here, and because we all feel separate from God, because we've been thinking in negative, limited ways, which separates us from God, then somehow we must prove our worthiness to this judgmental overlord, and then maybe, if we're really lucky, we'll be granted favor and eternal life. And to be honest, this is a totally childish premise based on pleasing some sort of concept of God as being a father or a mother figure to make them happy. And not, so they won't spank us and ground us, and so that they'll continue to love us and give us affection and feed us, and so that we can continue to, feel loved and feel like they approve of us, and not be thrown out of the cave and be eaten by the saber-toothed tigers, basically, for our survival. And we applied this please our parents strategy to God, which we perceived to be separate from us, and to be our protector, like a father, and to be a nurturer, like our mother. But to also be a punisher, like our parents. And this premise has created matriarchies and patriarchies and all kinds of relationship dysfunction between us humans. So this behavioral, follow the rules and regulations and follow the commandments, etc., supposedly set forth by some sort of God strategy, never ever worked and never ever will work, because God's source does not ever see you or anyone as in any way faulty or sinful or wrong or bad, etc., and doesn't ever see you as unworthy or not good enough, etc., and never ever sees anyone as less than total divine purity. No matter what anyone does that we could judge as wrong or bad or evil or sinful, etc., doesn't matter. Sin is 100% a human creation that humans theorized must be true because they felt separate from God because of their limited judgmental thinking. And then they recreated God in their own human image and their own faulty beliefs that they must prove their worth or believe that they must be saved by what they believe, etc. So to sum you up, to nutshell describe you, you are a fabulous, perfect, immortal, all-powerful, magical, divine spirit who's primarily non-physical, who is primarily a spirit who quite often expresses itself within and through physical bodies. You are an infinitely powerful, divine creator of worlds, and you have the complete power to create absolutely anything you desire. And you are living as a human on the leading edge of creation for the delicious, exciting joy of creating new and wonderful things for you and humanity and this planet, and ultimately for the entire universe. That's how amazing and powerful you are. So however wrong or bad or sinful they, having convinced you that you are, all of that is complete and utter bullshit, and you are the complete opposite. And you are the complete and utter divine magnificence. Everything that you can imagine that like say an angel would be like, that is how you are times 100 million trillion. Everything that you can imagine source, God, unconditional God to be, that you are all that times 100 trillion million. So we have determined who and what you are and what you are not. And we've determined why you are here and why you are not here on planet Earth in a human body. But there's certainly a lot more to be revealed about why you are here and especially your purpose in life. So you're not here to prove your worth to God or anyone, because your worth is not ever in question, and you can't ever get anything wrong, and there is no such thing as a judging God, and you are not here to be saved by Jesus or anyone, because there is nothing wrong with you, and you are immortal and don't need to prove your purity or your worthiness to be granted immortality by some sort of insecure immortality judge. And you are not here to save anyone else, because no one else needs saving, and you can't even save other people anyway, because everyone is divine and perfect, and everyone is being guided by their own source selves. And there is no such thing as victimhood. There is only attraction. There's no assertion, and everyone is empowered to create anything they like. And just like every bad experience was created by every person's thoughts, every single person has the same power to create better things. So no one needs your guidance or your money or your wisdom to get them out of their rut. They dug their own graves, so to speak, and all you can do for others is to give them a ladder to get out. But as you have seen, it's their choice to use the ladder to get out of their hole or reject it. If you give them a ladder out of pity and a belief that they are helpless and powerless, and a helpless, powerless victim, then they will reject your ladder, because no one wants to be seen as a helpless and powerless victim. And the same goes for critters. If you see animals as helpless and powerless victims to the evil humans, they will bite you, which basically means, fuck off, I am not helpless and powerless, and I don't need your fucking disempowering help. And even if I die, well, death is an illusion anyway, and no big deal. And if I want to, I can just come back and have another joyous experience in an animal body. It is also not your purpose in life to please anyone in any way. Did you hear that clearly? It is not your job or your mission or your purpose in life to do anything to make anyone happy. It's not your job to make God happy, or your religion happy, or your parents happy, or your lover happy, or your family happy, or your children happy, or your friends, or your employees, or your business partners, or your community, or your country, etc., etc., etc. It is not your purpose in life to make anyone happy other than yourself. Boom! Mic drop. So what's your purpose in life? To make yourself happy. What's your mission in life? To have fun. What's your reason for existing and being? For the joy and fun of it, because the purpose of life is joy. You are an infinite, all-powerful creator here on planet Earth for the delicious and exciting joy of creating whatever you desire to create for no other reason than it is fun to create stuff. You're not here to prove your worth by how awesome of a creator you are, or how magical or how powerful you are, because everyone is equally powerful and magical. And no one is more powerful or more magical than anyone else, just that some people are in better alignment with their desires than others. The only difference between people is how much they are desiring and how much they are allowing those desires to come to them. and how much they're resisting those dreams and desires and therefore blocking them from coming to them by doing stupid things like trying to prove their worthiness or how much they have struggled. You're not here to struggle. You're here for ease and joy and fun. You're not here to create new. You are not here to create the same old crap that everyone else has, made and tells you that you got to make and do over and over again. You're here to create new, wonderful stuff. You're not here to save yourself or to save humanity, because no one needs saving. You're not here to, joyfully create new and wonderful things to save planet Earth, because no one needs saving, and this planet does not need saving. Yes, humans have done their darndest to try to recreate nature into its own faulty image of itself, just as humanity has done with God. But nevertheless, nature and all of the animals and plants, etc., are not helpless, powerless victims that need saving from the ignorant, disconnected, misguided humans. Because every bit of unwanted contrast causes every soul, which includes the souls of every creature, and animal and plant and minerals, etc., to launch massive mothership-sized rockets of desire for improvement and prosperity and thriving and growth and expansion and evolution. It's just that animals do it in a much more simple way. They just go, I like this, I don't like that, I like this, I like this, I don't like that. So you and every human and every creature are here for the same reason, for the joy of creation. And to put it even more succinctly, we are here for the joy of creating our desires into physical reality. We're not here for the creations and the stuff, because the creations are merely the reason for the adventure of creating those creations. And no matter how many creations we create and amass, we will always want to create more and more and more and more and better and better and better, because we are creators, not banks and storage units. We don't need a stockpile of creations to prove anything to ourselves or anyone. And all creations are always in flux anyway. All creations in the physical world are constantly changing and growing and expanding and decaying. And yes, decaying and dying, but not because there is anything wrong with old stuff, but only because we as creators naturally always focus on the new stuff and just kind of leave the old stuff behind. And our attention will always sway away from the old stuff because it's all old stuff. Creators, amazing divine creators, that's us, are only ever interested in new stuff, because that is how we all truly are as Source creators. Source does not ever focus upon the old, decaying, dying stuff, and never ever thinks about improving old stuff. Source only ever focuses upon creating new stuff. And the new stuff that we are all creating as we experience the contrast of life and as we continuously desire improvement and better things and more things, etc. In fact, who we truly are as Source, each one of our own Source selves instantly becomes every single desire for improvement that we have about anything. Our own Source selves become that improvement that we desire vibrationally. So in vibrational reality, in spiritual non-physical reality, everything that we have ever desired and every desire we have every single day, who we truly are as Source has already become those desires. That means we have already become every one of our own desires, because there is no separation from you and your Source self. Who you truly are as Source is creating your desires as a human vibrationally. So all the dreams that you wish to come true have essentially already come true. You already have the money and the wealth and the success and the lovers and the children and the fame and the creativity and the awareness and the wisdom and the health and the youth and the vitality and the fitness and the longevity and the love and the joy and the fun and the adventure and the excitement, etc., 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 that you desire. And now, here's the rub. Here's the crux of the matter. It is your purpose in life is your joy in life to now physically be all that you are as source have already become vibrationally. So that your vibrational realities, your desires that have already been created vibrationally become physical realities. So you can see them, hear them, and touch them and feel them. Why? Well, just for the fun of it. Just because you can. Just for the utter and complete joy of the adventure of creating your desires into physical reality, and for the utter delight of enjoying how awesome of a creator you are, and how awesome and infinite and prosperous the universe of creation is. Because anything you want, it just creates it for you. And how awesome of a relationship you have with your own source and with the entire universe of creation. That anything you want, it just gets made for you. And how awesome and infinitely powerful you are, because all you have to do is point at what you want and allow the universe, the entire universe, to just rearrange itself and create it for you. Just rearrange all the cooperative elements that you need. And all you have to do is point and allow and expect your desires to come true. And so they do. If you can just do that. If you can just step into a vibrational place of allowance, like a masterful magician. You just expect magic to happen every day and everywhere, and so it does. Easy. Magic is happening in the world of creation 24/7 right now, so you might as well be a conscious and deliberate participant, cooperative participant in that magical daily infinite creation. So finally, you know who you truly are and why you are here. And this has guided you naturally about how to actually be who and what you truly are, because who you truly are is divine perfection. You don't have to do anything to be the infinitely abundant, unconditionally loving, all-powerful master of creation that you truly are. All you have to do is stop thinking and doing all the crap that is pinching you off from the source of who and what you truly are, and the source of your awesome infinite power. Stop thinking and acting and believing the ways that other humans have taught you to think, believe, and act, and you will be the divine perfection that you truly are. Stop thinking and believing in the illusions of limitation and scarcity and lack and ignorant beliefs in a need to prove your worth, and the ignorant beliefs in your supposed faults. And stop believing in other people's supposed faults. And stop buying the news that everything is a tragedy. And stop believing in the ludicrous, disempowering fantasy of victimhood and helplessness and powerlessness, and that the world is a world of assertion and evil, bad things can assert their will upon you. And the insane proposition, that evil people, can control you, and there is an interventionist, assertive God, and we are all helpless, sinful puppets, and need to prove our virtuousness to this insecure God that requires our worship and submission to assuage his insecurities and grant us our wishes. Stop believing in the foolish fantasy that if we please our parental God, he will grant us our wishes and let us into heaven. Stop believing in the ludicrous crap they have force-fed you that there is anything wrong with you, and start believing in your awesome magnificence. Start believing in your unlimited power to create anything that you desire, and start believing in the fact that you and Source, you and God are one. Start believing that you are God, that you are in fact Source, all that is, and start believing and knowing that you are the God or the Goddess of your own universe. And you decide what goes in your universe. You and you alone, in complete unison with who you truly are as Source, are completely in charge of your life, no one else's, and you answer to no one but you. And you as Source, the inner you, is always guiding you in the most optimal, easy, directions to more and more love and more joy and more prosperity and more ease and more fun. Every single desire you have, you as Source has already become that desire and is guiding you to the path of least resistance, which is the path of most allowance, which is the path of ease and grace and joy and fun towards the physical manifestation of every single one of your dreams and desires just for the fun of it. So, you are the king or the queen of your own kingdom, and you have the most wonderful advisor imaginable who's always guiding you to everything you want, and especially guiding you to what you truly want, which is joy and fun and love and excitement. Your natural state of being is love. You are love. So you don't have to do anything to get love or possess love or control love or make deals and agreements so that you can maintain love or make vows so that you can somehow maintain love. And you don't need anyone to give you love because you are love. Your natural state of being is prosperity and well-being. You are well-being and abundance. So you don't need to do anything to get well-being and abundance. The natural state of Source in the universe is love, well-being, and prosperity and abundance. Your natural state of being is joy, because the natural state of your Source and the natural state of the universe of creation is joy. And you don't have to do anything or be any specific way or have any specific thing in order to be happy. You just are joy. You are joy. You are joy itself. You don't need conditions to change or be any certain way in order to be happy. So that means you don't have to be any certain way or think in any certain way or do any certain things or have any certain things in order to be happy or healthy or prosperous. Just don't do things that make you unhappy. Just don't think in negative, limited, judgmental, lack-oriented ways that make you unhappy. And being completely healthy and vital and prosperous are your natural states of being, because who you truly are as Source is completely healthy and vital and prosperous. So just don't think and do things that feel bad, that block you from your natural flow of health and well-being and vitality and longevity and prosperity, etc. And think and do things that are nurturing to your natural states of joy and love and well-being and prosperity. In other words, if it feels good to think that way, keep thinking that way. And if it feels bad to think that way, find something that feels better to think about. If it feels bad to do that, then find something that feels better to do or think. Does it feel good to take care of yourself and spend quality time with yourself, alone in communion with your own Source, meditating and affirming what you want and feeling the joyful feelings of being, doing, and having what you want? Well, then do that every single day. Start your day that way. And consequently, if it feels bad to give all of your attention and energy to everyone else and trying to please the world while you're neglecting your own dreams and desires and your own joy and happiness, then you had better shift gears and get on a better track and start focusing on your own joy rather than the happiness of others. If it feels terrible and draining and you feel unappreciated, spending your entire life helping everyone else fulfill their dreams at the expense of your own dreams, then you'd better get refocused on your own dreams. And if it feels like crap-a-doodle-doo, spending your entire life trying to control your external reality and control everyone in that external reality so that you can be happy, and it feels terrible and exhausting trying to get rid of all the things and all the people that you dislike and don't want in life, and it feels overwhelming trying to control a million things that you don't seem to have any control over, so that you can finally be happy when all those bad things that you don't like have finally disappeared, well, then you might want to let go of all that futile control. And instead of trying to control reality to feel good, you might try feeling good regardless of conditions, and just control the only thing that you have any control over, which is your own thoughts and your own vibration and your own happy feeling state. Now, I could go on and on about how to encourage and rebuild a solid foundational connection to who and what you truly are as source, and how to listen to and follow the guidance you are always receiving from your own source to guide you to the path of ease, to create your desires into physical reality and generally have a wonderful, blessed, joyful, prosperous, loving, magical, and fulfilling life. But I've already done that in my Master Keys of Success and Daily Success Rituals series, available at masterkeysofsuccess.com, as well as my countless other videos, podcasts, articles, and books. And making that connection would be very easy if you hadn't trained yourself away from your natural state of divine alignment and well-being and abundance. But it really doesn't matter, because you are not a victim to that. It was all part of the plan, so to speak. You chose to adopt voluntary amnesia and not remember who and what you truly are, so that you could dig deep into the contrast of the unwanted things of life, because you knew that contrast would inspire within you great desire for improvement, and you knew that it would be a fun, exciting adventure creating and manifesting that improvement into your physical reality, and you would have fun delighting in your awesome magnificence because you created it. And now things can get easier and easier because you naturally attract less and less extreme contrast because of your solid, aligned, foundational connection to who you truly are as source, and because you built such a degree of unstoppable momentum. And no matter how wonderfully prosperous and delightful and exciting and loving and blissful and satisfying and fulfilling your life gets, there's always room for improvement. Things can always get better and better and better. No matter how rich you get, you will always want to be richer on all levels with all things, not just money, but richer in love and richer in wisdom and richer in well-being, because there is no end to your journey of creation and no end to your journey of richness and wealth of all things. There's no end to your desires and your desires to create new and wonderful things. You are a desire being. The mantra of Source, the mantra of the universe, is more and bigger and better and greater and more love and more joy and more fun, etc., etc. There is no such thing as a seventh day when who you truly are as a creator of worlds just retires and then does nothing for the rest of eternity. That's just poppycock. There are no laurels to rest upon. There is nothing to retire from or escape from, as if there are things trying to take away from you. That does not exist. There is nothing to run away from. There are only things to run to. There is only more fun things to desire and more fun desires to create into physical reality, and more fun things to do, and more fun ways to be, and more fun things to have, and more desires to have, and more fun desires to create forever and ever and ever and ever. And that is the essence of eternity and our immortality. There is no final highest mountain to climb and finally be complete and be done and have achieved the ultimate greatness or enlightenment. There is no final peak, no final achievement. We never, ever stop desiring and creating, because there is no limit to the universe, and there is no limit to how much we can create. There is only eternal expansion. No matter how many mountains we climb, there's always another more beautiful and higher one to climb. Or if we've climbed them all, then there's another mountain even higher and bigger and better to create. If we stopped desiring, we would cease creating and we would cease to exist. But it is impossible to stop yourself from desiring and creating. And the contrast of life ensures that. That's why asceticism, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, asceticism, where you give up physical, sensual things in life and just live in complete poverty, doesn't work. And celibacy doesn't work, or rejecting all sensuality and desire and trying to achieve a desireless state as a strategy to achieve some sort of state of enlightenment and taking vows of poverty doesn't ever work, because whatever you deny and repress, you are still giving your attention to. And what you are saying to the universe and the law of attraction that is important to you, because you've got your attention on it, and those desires naturally want to be expressed, because we are desire beings, we are creative beings, and the desires you repress will tease you and haunt you and tempt you like some sort of devil, which is how the concept of a devil and Satan and temptation came into existence in the first place, because whatever desire that you try to repress and deny has control over you, like a slave master, like a drug addiction. And we've seen clearly what happens in the example of the classic Catholic priests who have taken vows of celibacy. What happens when you repress and deny and demonize sex? It will come out in a demonized form. Whatever you demonize in your life, you're going to get more of it in demon form, in evil form. Whatever you reject and hate and judge, you're going to get more of that, whether it's positive, negative, whether you like it or don't. Whatever you make bad or evil or sinful, will you sabotage your own connection to Source, to God, Goddess, all that is, because Source never ever judges any desire that anyone has as being wrong or bad or sinful in any way. Why would God, Source, make such things as sex, that is obviously wonderful and magical and creates the miracle of life, and then at the same time say there is something wrong with it? That is just stupid, illogical poppycock. It's just plain and simply stupid, and God ain't stupid. And the same goes for anything that anyone could desire, such as money or success or sex or whatever. How can something that a person can use to do such good things with, such as money, be bad? Again, that is just stupid, because money is not some sort of evil thing. It just depends on what you do with it. You can do good things with it, or you can do bad things with it. It's just like a hammer. You can build things with it, or you can crack somebody's head open with it. Again, judging those kind of things as bad is just stupid, and God ain't stupid. Sex and love and money or anything that exists or that we have created is not bad or good. It's just what you do with it and your judgments and your perceptions about it that makes things good or bad, but only for you, really. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or decides or believes. This is the essence of the knowledge of good and evil. Not that there is such a thing as evil, because there is no such thing as a force of evil, but there is such thing as judging something or someone as good or evil. And that is your choice as a creator God. That is the wisdom of the knowledge of good and evil. Not that there is some force of evil, but that you can cut yourself off from goodness. So the story of Adam being tempted to taste the fruit of good and evil by that lusty, busty, sexy Eve was merely an allegory of a choice that we all made to play the game of judgment, but also to play the game of desire, to play the game of contrast, of undesirable things, so that we could play the game of creation. Because without the contrast of unwanted things, we would have no desires for improvement. And nothing would ever improve, and nothing would expand, and everything would cease to exist. And if we had no desires for improvement and growth and expansion, then there would be no evolution, no expansion, no immortality, no infinity. And all life would, we'd then we'd have the quote-unquote apocalypse that this ignorant people are still always expecting. So really, the grand temptation is whether you will focus upon things you don't like and don't want, and therefore create more things you don't want and don't like, which we've coined as being evil. Or whether you will allow yourself to be guided by Source and follow that guidance to focus upon things that you do like and do want, which we tend to call good, and therefore create more good things in your life. I'm going to say that again so that you really get it. So really, here's the grand temptation, the supposed, devil tempting us to do evil. The grand temptation is whether you will focus upon things that you don't like and don't want, and therefore create more things that you don't like and don't want, which we have called evil, or whether you will allow yourself to be guided by Source and follow that divine guidance to focus upon things that you do like and do want, which we tend to call good, and therefore create more good things in your life. That's what temptation really is. And that is your daily choice as an infinite, immortal, all-powerful creator of worlds. Will you create more crap that you don't like and don't want because you keep focusing on crap that you don't like and want in some sort of futile attempt to get rid of things you don't like and don't want so that you can finally be left with things you do want, which doesn't work? Or will you create more wonderful things that you do like and do want by focusing on things that you do like and do want, and just forget about the things that you don't want and don't like? And will you choose ease and grace and joy and fun and prosperity? Or will you keep banging the drums of lack and limitation, and I don't like this, and I don't want that, and victimhood and powerless, and etc.? So, well, I know what my choice is. My choice is focus on what I do like and do want. So, all that stuff that the New Age community believes, and the psychological community believes that you need to somehow get rid of the past, somehow clear out the old stuff, is complete and utter bullshit. Male bovine excrement to the 10th millionth degree. You do not have to get rid of anything. You do not have to get rid of things you don't like and don't want. You don't have to get rid of people you don't like and don't want. All you have to do is focus on what you do like and do want. Enjoy the delightful feelings and experiences of being and doing and having what you want now, even though you don't actually physically have it yet. That's how you create what you want. That is how you create worlds and create anything you want. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you got something from it, please comment, share it with your friends, bless them with these amazing teachings. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get notifications of new videos, and come visit me at ZaKaiRan.com for tons more self-empowering videos and podcasts and articles and books and products and coaching and support and guidance to help you become a conscious, deliberate creator of reality, to create and attract the happiness, health, wealth, abundance, and freedom that you desire. My name is ZaKaiRan Shihan, and I help success-minded people create the happy, healthy, wealthy, and abundant lifestyle that you love. Thanks again for watching this video or listening to this podcast, and I wish you immense joy and abundance on your magnificent journey of divine creation. And of course, remember to make life a holiday. Woohoo!